which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Welcome to Around Our Area, a weekly look at community newspapers from around Western New York. Your reader for this hour is Patricia. Starting with the Amherst Bee for July 9th, from the front page. Town Board hears concerns on card game sidewalks, by Bob Krupsik. The Amherst Town Board's Monday afternoon meeting featured a public hearing on proposed regulations for battery energy storage systems, or BESS. Concerns from Amherst Senior Center members over card playing and complaints about sidewalk violation notices. The board held a public hearing on a proposed zoning amendment regulating BESS installations. Assistant Planning Director Daniel Yulkowski and Assistant Planner Gregory Dion outlined the proposal, which was established 3 categories of systems: residential, up to 100 kilowatts an hour, commercial, 101 to 1,000 kilowatt hours, and utility scale, more than 600 kilowatt hours. Dion said the proposal includes a 500-foot setback from residential zoning districts, a 100-foot setback from roadways, and an emergency management plan approved by the town fire inspector. He said the town has received interest from developers near Youngs and Worley roads. Addressing concerns about battery fires, Dion said newer battery technology has improved safety by eliminating components linked to earlier incidents. During public expression, resident Jane Cox asked the board to delay action because this afternoon meeting limited public participation. Supervisor Sean Lavin agreed, adjourning the public hearing until the board's 7 p.m. July 27th meeting. Several Amherst Senior Center members also urged the board to reconsider a February code of conduct prohibiting gambling at the center. Carmen Vela, president of the center's Pinochle Club, said seniors had played cards for 25 years without problems before the policy change. Robert Summers said a camera recently installed in the card room and increased staff monitoring have made card players feel unwelcome. Lavin said the town's policy will remain in place. We're not gambling at the senior center, he added, adding that those wishing to play for money can do so in private homes. He said the policy is intended to promote safety and noted that other senior centers have similar rules. Residents also raised concerns about sidewalk violation notices issued. John Jacobs of Huxley Drive in Snyder said the building department has cited more than 200 properties after receiving complaints from 2 residents. On his blog, he said 19 of 34 homes received notices, with many sidewalks damaged by roots from mature town trees. Jacobs says homeowners have been given little written guidance on acceptable repairs and only a short time frame to address violations, making it difficult to hire contractors during the busy summer season. He asked the town to provide clear written standards, extend compliance deadlines, and involve the town arborist in evaluating tree-related damage. Ryan Lynch of Walton Road said he plans to repair his sidewalk, but noted that the damage was caused by town-owned trees. Lavin acknowledged the concerns, saying many of the problems stem from trees planted decades ago in the 80s. He said the town will develop clearer standards and a solution to help residents remain in compliance. I don't have the answers now, but I will work on getting them, Lavin said. Continuing with the Amherst Bee for July 9th from the editorial pages, What Inflation Means for Amherst Now and 20 Years from Now by Sean Levin, Amherst supervisor. The U.S. Department of Labor recently reported that the national rate of inflation sits at 4.2%. Energy costs are up 19%. It costs you more to buy your weekly groceries, with produce alone increasing more than 6%. And of course, the cost at the pump has skyrocketed. A year ago, inflation was running at 2.4%. On its face, a 2% jump doesn't sound alarming. But for a town like Amherst, that difference is significant. And the reason comes down to how we plan. Amherst thinks in decades, not just budget cycles. Where do we want to be in 10, 20 years? That long-term thinking is what keeps our community vibrant, our services strong, and our town attractive to families putting down roots. But long-term planning has to contend with long-term math, and that's where inflation becomes a serious problem. Here's a concrete example. A sewer line replacement that costs $1 million today doesn't cost $1 million a decade from now. At a 4.2% inflation rate, that same project runs closer to $1.5 million. At the lower rate of 2.4%, it would have been roughly $1.2 million. That $300,000 difference isn't an abstraction. It's real money that municipalities must find somewhere, often at the expense of other projects or services residents depend on. We are all feeling the effects of inflation. Every errand we run, we deal with higher costs. It hits households at the grocery store and the gas pump. It hits small businesses trying to manage supply costs, and it hits towns trying to maintain roads, water systems, and public infrastructure on budgets that begin to take shape years in advance. As the town begins our 2027 budget meetings, I want to remind residents that there will be opportunities to participate in the process. The town board will hold 3 public hearings on October 13th, October 16th, and October 26th, and the town's budget and citizens' budget overview document will be available on the town website. Amherst will continue doing everything within our control to manage costs, find efficiencies, and allocate taxpayer dollars wisely. But some levers simply aren't ours to pull. The rate of inflation is set by forces well above the town level: federal monetary policy, national supply chains, and global energy markets. We'll keep planning smartly. A little help on the inflation front, though, would go a long way. Continuing with the editorial page of the Amherst Bee, letters to the editor. Amherst Maple Road land deal. Why are taxpayers being asked to borrow $1.65 million for 20 years? At its July 6 town board meeting, Amherst officials approved Resolution 2026-505, authorizing the issuance of $1.65 million in municipal bonds to finance the purchase of the remaining acreage at 218 and 330 Maple Road. Before voting to approve the proposed $1,650,000 borrowing, Supervisor Levin should have provided residents with a complete explanation of the proposal, including all associated fees, the long-term cost to taxpayers, and why a 20-year bond is being considered. In December 2024, the town purchased approximately 31.6 acres at 218 and 330 Maple Road for $5.75 million using general fund money. Those funds were expected to be repaid after part of the property was sold. In September 2025, the town sold approximately 21.8 acres to the Amherst Development Corporation for $4.905 million. The ADC was expected to transfer the property to 716 Sports Complex, LLC, for development of an indoor sports complex. The basic math raises an important question. If the town paid $5.75 million and received $4.905 million on the sale, the difference is approximately $805,000. The town retained about 11.4 acres. Now, however, the town is seeking authorization to borrow up to $1.65 million, more than twice the apparent difference between the purchase price and sale proceeds. That borrowing will be repaid by Amherst taxpayers with interest through townwide property taxes. Residents deserve answers before another long-term debt obligation is approved. That was the final acquisition cost after legal fees, closing costs, environmental work, surveys, and other expenses. How much of the sale proceeds was returned to the general fund? How was the retained acreage valued? Why is $1.65 million needed? What will the total interest cost be? Why is repaying now proposed over 20 years when the original authorization was for 5 years? Supervisor Levin, who supported greater budget transparency in 2024, should have provided full disclosure before this vote. Do you believe taxpayers should receive a complete public accounting before the town adds this debt? Signed, Joseph Merdes, Troy DeWay, Williamsville. You're listening to Around Our Area on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. The time is 2:10, and we turn to the Clarence Bee for July 9th. Under local news, Clarence Arboretum to commemorate nation's 250th anniversary with white oak. The Town of Clarence Arboretum Advisory Committee will commemorate the 250th anniversary of the United States independence with the donation and dedication of a white oak tree at the Clarence Arboretum. The tree, planted on the north side of the Clarence Public Library, adjacent to the Children's Garden, will serve as a lasting tribute to the nation's semi-quincentennial. A bronze plaque mounted on a large native rock will mark the dedication. The planting will be complemented by sun patience, flowers donated by the Garden Friends of Clarence. The white oak, Quercus alba, was selected for its symbolism of strength, endurance, and longevity. Native to eastern North America, the species is also the nation's official tree, a designation established by Congress in 2004. In addition to its symbolic significance, the white oak is recognized for its ecological value and high-quality hardwood. The tree is distinguished by its round-lobed leaves, light ash-gray bark, and sweet acorns. Its wood is commonly used for flooring, furniture, and the production of wine and bourbon barrels. Tree expert Ron Walkowick also selected additional oak trees that were recently planted in the library section of the Arboretum. Members of the Clarence Arboretum Advisory Committee include James Burkhardt, Sharon Barker, Parks Superintendent Jason Holden, Harry McPherson, Councilman Dan Milchnick, Margaret Walker, Ron Wakawiak, and Elaine Wolfe. The Clarence Arboretum is located on an 18-acre site north and west of Clarence Public Library. The Arboretum features more than 350 specimen-quality native trees representing 135 varieties, as well as 2 ponds with fountains, walking paths, and benches, and a gazebo. A complete listing of the Arboretum's trees, including botanical names, plaque inscriptions, and tree purchase order forms, is available at the Clarence Town Clerk's Office in Clarence Town Hall during regular business hours. For more information, call 716-759-8475. Continuing with local news in the Clarence Bee. National Grid awards $115,000 to support Food Nerd expansion in Clarence. National Grid has awarded $115,000 in economic development funding to Food Nerd Incorporated to support the company's expansion at its manufacturing facility in Clarence. The funding includes a $100,000 grant through National Grid's Capital Investment Incentive Program and $15,000 through its Manufacturing Productivity Program. Food Nerd is expanding its 30,000 square foot manufacturing facility as part of an effort to reposition its brand for broader distribution, with plans to introduce new products in the future. The expansion is expected to create more than 10 new jobs. Working with National Grid as an energy partner has been incredibly valuable to Food Nerd's growth and success, said Sharon Cryan, founder and CEO of Food Nerd. Their team has gone above and beyond to ensure we feel supported as a business while helping us improve efficiency and reduce costs within our manufacturing operations. Cryan said the partnership has helped the company reach its manufacturing goals more quickly while navigating the challenges of self-manufacturing. National Grid Regional Director Ken Kujawa said the Capital Investment Incentive Program helps qualifying businesses offset costs associated with utility infrastructure upgrades tied to expansion or new construction projects. We work closely with our customers to learn their needs and how National Grid may be able to assist, Kujawa said. Food Nerd is an excellent example where we can help a company remain local and competitive while strengthening a community and increasing the number of jobs. In addition to the Capital Investment Incentive Grant, National Grid awarded Food Nerd $15,000 through its Manufacturing Productivity Program, which is designed to help manufacturers improve efficiency, reduce waste, and support business growth. Continuing with the Clarence Bee for July 9th from the front page. The town of Clarence will receive a $572,643 state grant to construct an all-inclusive playground at Town Place Park, one of the 20 municipal park improvement projects selected for funding through the second round of New York's Municipal Parks and Recreation Grant Program. Governor Kathy Hochul announced more than $10 million in grants statewide to support the development and improvement of municipal parks and recreation facilities. The funding is provided through the state's $4.2 billion Clean Water, Clean Air, and Green Jobs Environmental Bond Act, approved by New York voters in 2022. The Clarence Project, which will be completed in partnership with the Clarence Lions Club, will create a universally accessible playground designed to serve children of all abilities. The new playground is intended to expand recreational opportunities while promoting accessibility and inclusion for families throughout the community. State officials said the Municipal Parks and Recreation Grant Program supports the construction and improvement of municipally owned parks and recreational facilities, including playgrounds, athletic fields, sports courts, trails, picnic areas, and other outdoor amenities. Grants may cover up to 90% of eligible project costs, with awards capped at $900,000. In announcing the awards, Hochul said the funding will help communities encourage residents to spend more time outdoors while improving local recreational infrastructure. These grants will help communities with a range of projects to encourage New Yorkers to get offline and get outside and enjoy healthy, active recreation, Hochul said. This new round of funding from the Clean Water, Clean Air, and Green Jobs Environmental Bond Act continues New York State's commitment to helping expand access to safe and welcoming parks and recreational facilities all across the state. Town Supervisor Patrick Casilio said the grant will allow the town to create a playground that can be enjoyed by all children. I am grateful to Governor Hochul for prioritizing funding through the Municipal Parks and Recreation Grant Program, Casilio said. This funding will facilitate the construction of a universally designed, inclusive playground in Clarence. When complete, it will provide an inviting and engaging recreational resource for children of all abilities. As a community, we are honored to partner with New York State on the advancement of vibrant and accessible public spaces and places. Clarence's award was the only municipal parks and recreation grant announced for Erie County in the latest round of funding. State officials said the grants complement Hochul's Get Offline, Get Outside initiative, which encourages New Yorkers to spend more time outdoors while supporting investments in parks and recreational facilities throughout the state. And ending the Clarence Bee with a couple comments in the Be Heard column. Call 716-632-0390 and express your opinion. The first comment, I was recently at a function over in Lancaster where they had a band in the street with hundreds of people. Restaurants were going full speed. Why is there nothing in Clarence like that? We have nothing here. There's no good coffee shops. There's no good pastry shops. Nothing in Clarence or Williamsville. All we get is the Boot Barn, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and Harbor Freight. Something is wrong with this picture. And the other comment, it is my opinion that a person who uses the quote, a lion does not lose sleep over the opinion of sheep, is very concerned with the opinions of sheep. The person is very concerned about the opinions of sheep. If you want to know about the trauma dump that any of the Clarence class of 2026 received, talk to one of their kids and let us know what they think of that speech. Embarrassing. You are listening to Around Our Area on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. The time is 2:20, and we turn to the Cheektowaga Bee for July 9th. From the front page, Lancaster supervisor slams BPD for press briefing targeting area residents for July 4th chaos, by James Sinner. A spree of shootings in Buffalo during a street takeover party on July 4th resulted in 11 victims of gun violence over the course of 2 hours as the partying spiraled out of control. The incident, which took place in the area of East Delavan and Grider, caused an overwhelming situation for officers responding who struggled to keep up with the chaos and violence. Of particular concern for us was an event by a self-proclaimed street party promoter, said Commissioner Erica Shields. This particular promoter has caused significant issues for the Buffalo Police Department in the past. Chief of E District for the Buffalo Police Department, Todd McAllister, made a statement during the briefing, quickly shifting attention to individuals who were visiting the street party from other parts of the county, while noting that they only made a fraction of attendees. They were predominantly from the underserved community, Buffalo, but it did not end there, he said. Some of the kids that attended this event were from other parts of Erie County. It wasn't just the underserved. They were from areas of Lancaster, and they were also from families that would not be considered in that underserved grouping. McAllister did not name any specific individuals from Lancaster that were involved in the chaos. Town of Lancaster supervisor said that he had the Lancaster Police Department check for arrests of local residents in Buffalo that evening related to the July 4th crimes, but that nothing was noted in the computer system. Town of Lancaster supervisor Bob Leary took issue with Chief McAllister's bringing up Lancaster as a source of the issues, noting that McAllister himself said that the majority of issues were from residents of Buffalo, so it seemed like an attempt to divert attention from the actual issue. While the statement was made by McAllister, Larry was disappointed that Shields didn't stay on the topic of the shootings and allow Lancaster to be drawn into the conversation without any supporting evidence presented. The town of Lancaster deals with gang members traveling from the city of Buffalo into Lancaster and taking vehicles into Buffalo and using them for criminal activity, Leary said. She's got a lot of nerve blaming the town of Lancaster for the problems in the city of Buffalo. Leary, who spent 10 years with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, said, The problem was Buffalo. It wasn't the suburbs. I'm not going to allow her to insult the residents of the town of Lancaster, he said. Prove it. Let me see something. Leary has requested either evidence of Lancaster residents heavily involved in the rampant chaos on July 4th or an apology from the Buffalo Police Department. Shield was asked about the involvement of Buffalo gangs in the incident, but she quickly pivoted, citing past gun seizures by the department and continued work with the community. We had not had a shooting in a couple weeks, she said. Shields added that the countermeasures were put in place ahead of July 4th to combat lawlessness, including increasing manpower to 150%, speed bumps to stop street racing, and requesting businesses close early to limit congestion on the roads. The Buffalo Police Department was contacted for comment by the Lancaster DPUB, but has yet to provide a statement on this incident or response to the supervisor. Continuing with the front page of the Cheektowaga Bee for July 9th, Operation Key Fob nets arrests, stolen vehicles recovered. Erie County Sheriff John C. Garcia announced the successful completion of the first Operation Key Fob detail, a collective effort by Erie County's law enforcement agencies to recover stolen vehicles and effectuate arrests. On the evening of July 1st, law enforcement recovered 4 stolen vehicles and removed an additional 4 from the stolen vehicle database. 2 subjects were arrested and charged with criminal possession of stolen property. Deputies and dispatchers from Erie County Sheriff's Office, New York State Police, Buffalo Police Department, Amherst Police Department, Town of Hamburg Police Department, and Cheektowaga Police Department participated in the effort. A total of 734 vehicles have been reported stolen across Erie County this year. Operation Key Fob utilizes air and ground units in conjunction with intelligence resources to locate these vehicles so that they can be returned to their owners. Of the stolen vehicles across the county that were still outstanding, 25% were recovered by law enforcement on July 1st. A vehicle is the most important asset in many people's lives, said Garcia. We use it to get to work, take our children to school, and pick up groceries from the store. Without it, most people feel lost. That's why when a vehicle is stolen, it can have devastating effects on the victim. It's more than a simple inconvenience. Last night's deployment is only the start. Working with our law enforcement partners, we will be out in the community all summer long trying to make these victims whole. In the meantime, residents of Erie County should remember that they have the power to prevent car theft. Remove valuable items from your car, lock it up, and bring your keys inside the house every time, said Garcia. And continuing with the Cheektowaga Bee, Being a Good Father by Brian Nowak, Town of Cheektowaga Supervisor. I sat down a few times to start this month's article and switch topics each time. I'd walk away and come back and start from scratch. The common thread in the background of each attempt was how the world my kids are growing up in will shape them. I have a 6-year-old son, Arlo, and a 2-year-old daughter, Jada. I'm very lucky that they're going to have a less challenging time than I did growing up because they have me in their life. My dad wasn't around when I was growing up, but I was lucky to have a lot of extended family and other folks in my life that helped fill that gap. Like most other kids, my little ones know what YouTube and Bluey are, and they get screen time. Arlo gets more exposure than Jada. He likes scrolling Instagram videos, but they both have their favorites. In a way, this is just their generation's Saturday morning cartoons. But the shared living room TV with limited channels and broadcasts didn't come with an algorithm and targeted, individualized advertisements. My wife, Holly, and I regulate and monitor their screen time. Still, there's a feeling that no matter what approach we take to screen time, there's a strong case to make for an alternative. The kids go to Cheektowaga Town Park throughout the summer. The playground near the shelters is packed. even on weekdays. They enjoy their time there, and in all our visits, it's been a safe place to go and have a great time. I see the police presence in the park myself while I'm there, and they're close by if you can't spot a police cruiser. It's a safe place to be. When there is an issue, Cheektowaga police get on it and address the matter. Arlo is at an age where he's asking heavy questions. Holly is getting more of those, but I get my share too. Like any parent, I've had to bounce between addressing one of life's tough questions and going right back to being goofy or talking about why we're running whatever errand we're on. It won't be long before Jada joins Arlo in asking questions like what I do at my job or why some people say the park isn't safe. If I do my job right with them, they will both learn how to think and not what to think from a teacher or their parents. One of the many beautiful things about Cheektowaga is that we have people with a wide range of opinions, beliefs, and experiences. Our town will afford them all sorts of opportunities to learn about the world and different ways to be good citizens. More than anything, I want them to become hardworking, disciplined adults that are an asset to community. We have plenty of examples of these positive attributes among those who call Cheektowaga home. They will learn core values and will help a strong community thrive and love their neighbors like themselves. They will be able to see themselves in people who think, pray, and love differently than them. Cheektowaga offers me and every other parent an opportunity to raise good kids. As always, I welcome your feedback. I can be contacted at phone 716-686-3465 or by email at supervisor@tocny.org. You're listening to Around Our Area on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. The time is 2:30, and we turn to the Lancaster and combined Depew B. Under local news, Lancaster buries time capsule to honor nation's 250 years of existence. Village of Lancaster officials gathered before the July 4th holiday to bury a time capsule in the earth for 100 years, bearing a message to future generations about life in 2026. Today we are experiencing a rebirth of our village's central business district that is located across from Lancaster Town Hall and the surrounding area, read a letter placed into the capsule by Mayor Bill Schroeder. Due to numerous grant funding opportunities, we have reconstructed West Main Street itself and have welcomed new businesses and housing opportunities that continue to grow and prosper. The letter went on to discuss the village's fire department set to receive a new pumper at a cost of nearly $1 million, which will serve the municipality approximately 10,000 residents. In addition, Schroeder mentioned the creation of Cayuga Creek Park and the incoming stage and pavilion. We have a great village here in 2026, and we are proud of our accomplishments as we continue to strive for a great quality of life for our residents, and we wish the best to future village governments, the letter concluded. During the ceremony, B Group newspapers provided copies of the June 25th and July 2nd editions of the paper, giving future residents a taste of local life in Lancaster. The June 25th edition contained a special editorial for readers in the future, elaborating on the village's message of life in the present. Continuing with local news, explore life in 1820 at Hull House. The Hull family home in Farmstead will host History Camp for kids from July 20th to the 24th, with sessions running from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The camp is designed for students entering 5th through 8th grade and offers hands-on activities that explore what life was like in 1820. Campers will take part in pioneer chores, learn about early 19th century clothing and textiles, explore indigenous culture, participate in an archaeological dig, work with period wood tools, and help prepare a meal together. Additional activities will further immerse students in the daily life and skills of the era. To register or obtain more information, contact Suzanne Jacobs by email at sjacobs@hallfamilyhome.com or phone 716-681-5494. And under a news brief in local news, each winter, nearly 400 homes participate in Stony Brook Legendary Lights in the Stony Brook/Quail Run development in Lancaster. This year, residents of the Stony Brook neighborhood chose Read to Succeed from a pool of 5 not-for-profit organizations competing to be the organization's annual fundraiser recipient. In addition to the funds raised during the holiday light show, the neighborhood also collects cans and bottles throughout the year, and this year's deposits headed to Read to Succeed. Please consider bringing your empty recyclable cans and bottles to 7 Kellyanne Drive, Lancaster, New York, 14086. Continuing with the Lancaster Depew Bee for July 9th. Village of Depew celebrates America 250 by Kevin Peterson, Village of Depew Mayor. The Village of Depew was proud to celebrate America's 250th birthday with a special concert and fireworks celebration at Fireman's Park Pavilion. The evening featured the Boys of Summer featuring Tori, and what an incredible night it was. The 3-hour concert began at 7 p.m., and the popular band kept the largest crowd of our summer concert season entertained with an outstanding selection of music. Once again, our Board of Trustees and I were proud to host an event that truly brought families together. There was something for everyone. Children enjoyed our giant slide, Scooby-Doo bounce house, and the playground equipment throughout the park. Both village pools remained open until 7 p.m., allowing families to cool off before the concert began. And for the second consecutive year, an impromptu kickball game broke out. Proof that sometimes the simplest activities create the best memories. Then at 10 p.m., the sky over Depew came alive. For the second straight year, the village presented a spectacular 28-minute fireworks display that many residents are already calling one of the finest in all of Western New York. Several people even compared it to the renowned annual fireworks display in East Aurora. We are incredibly grateful for the overwhelming positive feedback we have received. Considering this was only the second fireworks show ever presented by the Village of Depew, the response has been truly remarkable. Our challenge now is to continue finding the resources necessary to make this summer concert and fireworks celebration an annual tradition for years to come. As part of the village's America 250 celebration, we also held a special dedication ceremony during the concert for a newly planted 18-foot Jefferson elm located near the Fireman's Park Pavilion. I was honored to be joined by Erie County Legislator Frank Todaro and New York State Assemblyman Peter Kluzinski as we dedicated the beautiful tree. The Jefferson elm serves as a tribute to one of the most iconic symbols in American history, the Liberty Tree of Boston. Planted around 1646, the original Liberty Tree was a majestic American elm that stood along Orange Street in colonial Boston. More than a century later, it became the gathering place where the Sons of Liberty and ordinary citizens met to protest oppressive British taxation and the erosion of their rights. Under its branches, patriots organized resistance that helped ignite the spark of the American Revolution. The Liberty Tree became an enduring symbol of freedom, courage, and the pursuit of self-government. The Jefferson elm, now planted at Fireman's Park, is a modern descendant of that historic legacy. Capable of living for hundreds of years, resistant to Dutch elm disease, and well-suited to our climate and soil, it has been planted with the hope that it will stand for generations as a living reminder of the freedoms we enjoy and the sacrifices made to secure them. May this tree continue to symbolize freedom, strength, unity, and the enduring spirit of America for generations to come. While our America 250 celebration was a tremendous success, we are already preparing for another exciting community tradition. From July 16th to the 18th, the Village of Depew will celebrate the 132nd anniversary of our incorporation, which officially took place on July 23, 1894, during our annual Founders' Day celebration. This year's event promises outstanding entertainment each evening in the beer tent. On Thursday night, enjoy Tequila Sunrise, the area's premier Eagle tribute band. Friday night features the high-energy Nerds Gone Wild, followed by performances from DJ Stone and Uncovered on Saturday evening. In addition to great music, attendees can enjoy craft vendors, a variety of food trucks, a community yoga class, and a performance by the Depew High School Alumni Band on Friday at 5 p.m. Families will once again find plenty to do in our family-friendly zone, including face painting, games with prizes, activities hosted by the Depew Volunteer Fire Department, our giant slide, the Scooby-Doo Bounce House, balloon creations by Balloon Brothers, the Western New York Trackless Train, and farmyard fun for everyone. There truly will be something for every member of the family. For additional details and complete schedule of events, please visit the Village of Depew Facebook page. As I close this month's column, I cannot help but reflect on how fortunate we are to call the United States of America our home. As our nation celebrates 250 years of independence, we are reminded that the freedoms we enjoy today were secured through the courage, sacrifice, and determination of those who came before us. Serving as your mayor for the past 7.5 years, after previously serving 4 years as a village trustee, has been one of the greatest honors of my life. Throughout that time, one of my primary goals has been to ensure that the conversation about dissolving the Village of Depew becomes a thing of the past and is never brought up again. Under the B, What's Going On column for the Lancaster Depew Bee, the Lancaster Garden Walk will take place from 8:30 to 11 p.m. Friday, July 17th, and 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Saturday, July 18th, and Sunday, July 19th. This annual event is the beloved staple of Lancaster's summertime schedule, drawing residents from around the county to follow a map of standout local gardens. More information about this can be found online at lancastervillage.gov/event/Lancaster/Garden Walk 2026. And the Lancaster Village Porch Fest. Lancaster Village Porch Fest will enter its third running year from noon to 5 p.m. Sunday, August 16th, featuring popular bands from around the region scheduled to play outside of local homes and businesses. Attendees are invited to stroll from house to house, bring a lawn chair, and enjoy an afternoon of live music in a walkable, family-friendly setting. From the Be Heard column in the Lancaster Depew Bee for July 9th. Call 716-632-0390 and express your opinion. The first opinion: the reason people drive so dangerously and crazy is because the police are doing nothing at all about it. And the next opinion: talking to my grandson and some of his friends that are graduating from Lancaster Middle School, they're so happy now to go to the high school where they'll be able to get their marijuana cannabis because it's all over the school already. I'd like to thank New York State for opening up a can of worms that's been illegal ever since I was a kid, and I'm in my 70s. Why they did it was for money. Money, 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 and the heck with everybody. And the last opinion: I'm a resident of the village in Lancaster, and I live blocks from downtown. and they have this loud music that is illegal. The village ordinance reads, any music where words, any noise over a 100 decibels is against the village code. They should charge the mayor and the board members and the special events personnel for having this music. I'm trying to sleep. I have to go to work. This is unbelievable in this village. Get rid of the special events. Continuing with local news in the Lancaster Depew Bee, Depew Police Department to host National Night Out event in August. Depew Police and Depew Fire will host National Night Out, a free community event featuring music, demonstrations, food trucks, and family activities from 6 to 8 p.m. Tuesday, August 4th at Fireman's Park, 90 Gould Avenue. The event is part of the nationwide National Night Out initiative that focuses on police community partnerships and neighborhood engagement. Residents are invited to attend at no cost and spend the evening meeting local first responders in an informal setting. Attendees can expect live demos by police and fire personnel, a bounce house, food trucks, free giveaways, and emergency vehicles on display throughout the night. Children and adults will have the chance to see police and fire equipment up close and learn more about the work of local first responders. Organizers say the event is designed to strengthen relationships between first responders and community while offering a safe, family-friendly night out for all ages. Support from local businesses and community partners is highlighted on promotional materials, underscoring the shared commitment to public safety and youth engagement in Depew. Elks Lodge grant supports essential needs program at Depew Community Center. The Lancaster Elks Lodge 1478 has awarded an essential goods grant to the Depew Community Action Team Incorporated, providing critical support for programs that serve residents facing economic hardship. The grant, totaling approximately $2,500 in essential goods, will directly benefit the organization's community-based initiatives, including the Depew Community Laundry and the Care and Share Corner. The Depew Community Laundry was established in response to residents' requests for an affordable, accessible laundry facility within walking distance. Since its opening, the site has evolved into a community hub, offering not only low-cost laundry services, but also a welcoming space where residents can gather and connect. The location also functions as a donation center where community members can access clothing and other items at no cost. Building on that model, the Care and Share Corner was created to address a growing need for household goods, personal care items, and over-the-counter medical supplies. The program serves individuals and families experiencing food insecurity, including those who receive SNAP benefits, as well as those who may not qualify but still face financial challenges. Items are distributed free of charge without income qualification requirements. Officials with the Depew Community Action Team said the Elks Lodge grant significantly expands the availability of these essential items and will help meet increasing demand from the community. The $2,500 in items we received this weekend through your grant significantly increased the number of items available, said Depew Community Center Administrator Deb Turley. It is hard to imagine not being able to provide essentials for one's family or oneself. We see this every day at the community center and will continue to find ways to fill the gap for people who struggle so they are free to build the life they desire. Thank you for your support. You are listening to Around Our Area on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. The time is 2:50 and we turn to the Kenton Bee for July 9th. From the front page, Tonawanda's Art on the Riverwalk Festival returns for its 22nd year. Over 40 artists from the Western New York area will be displaying art at this year's festival, taking place from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday, July 12th at Nyawanda Park Route 266 River Road, Tonawanda. This year's festival will feature fine art from local artists such as Buffalo Public School art teacher Veronica Kruger and some of her students, as well as 5 child artists, among many others. The event took place on the Buffalo River, and there were many artist tents to look through. This year, there was a newly added community art table that had supplies to paint rocks to add to Stella the Rock Snake at the garden in the City of Tonawanda Library. Tonawanda Kenmore Historical Society launches Western New York Tombstone Trail 250. The Tonawanda Kenmore Historical Society is inviting residents and visitors to discover the rich history of the town of Tonawanda through the newly launched Western New York Tombstone Trail 250, a regional initiative commemorating America's 250th anniversary in 2026. Supported by the Erie County Historical Commission through funding provided by Erie County, the WNY Tombstone Trail 250 features 26 historic cemeteries throughout Western New York. The Tonawanda Kenmore Historical Society proudly sponsors 4 of the participating sites: St. Peter's Cemetery, North Bush Cemetery, Failing Cemetery, and Workley Cemetery. Together, these historic burial grounds preserve nearly 2 centuries of local history and provide a glimpse into the lives of town of Tonawanda's earliest settlers. At the 4 cemeteries in the town of Tonawanda, visitors can enjoy self-guided walking tours. Featured gravestones are identified with QR code stakes that can be scanned using a smartphone, providing access to engaging stories about the individuals and families buried there. Along the trail, visitors will encounter fascinating accounts of pioneer life, early farming communities, military service, German immigration, family traditions, and the challenges of life in the 19th century. Whether you're a lifelong resident, a genealogy enthusiast, a student of local history, or simply looking for unique outdoor activity, the WNY Tombstone Trail 250 offers an opportunity to experience the community's heritage in a new and meaningful way. As our nation celebrates its 250th anniversary, and this trail reminds us that American history isn't found only in famous landmarks, said representatives of the Tonawanda Kenmore Historical Society. It's also preserved in the quiet cemeteries of our own neighborhoods, where the stories of ordinary people continue to inspire us. The public is invited to visit one or all 4 of the town of Tonawanda's participating cemeteries and discover the history waiting just beyond the cemetery gate. To learn more about the WNY Tombstone Trail 250 and all 26 participating cemeteries across Western New York, visit www.wnytombstonetrail250.org or follow WNY Tombstone Trail 250 on Facebook. Continuing with the Kenton Bee for July 9th, Town Assessor reminds residents to respond to star exemption notices. Town of Tonawanda Assessor Jill Murphy is reminding residents who have received correspondence from the New York State Department of Taxation and Finance regarding their star exemption to respond to the state as soon as possible. According to Murphy, the assessor's office will be required to remove the star exemptions of property owners who do not respond to the state's request for information. Residents are encouraged to reply promptly to avoid losing their star exemption. If property owners want to verify that their star exemption is being continued, they should contact New York State as soon as possible at www.tax.ny.gov/star, or call 518-457-2036, weekdays 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. They can also write to New York State Tax Department, ORPTS, Star Resolution Unit, RESWA, Harriman Campus, Albany, New York, 12227-0801. Residents with mortgage escrow accounts should also be aware that if they received the Star exemption on last year's school tax bill, but have since switched to the Star Credit Check program, they should notify their mortgage lender or bank. Under the Star Credit program, the savings will no longer appear as an exemption on the school tax bill. Instead, eligible homeowners will receive the Star benefit as either a check or a direct deposit from New York State. Murphy also noted that the town assessor's office does not administer the Star program. Residents with questions or those who need to respond to a Star notice must contact the New York State Department of Taxation and Finance directly. And finishing up the Kenton Bee with a couple of upcoming activities. Tonawanda Kenmore Historical Society to present Lost Tonawanda program. It's the fifth installment of its 2026 speaker series at 7 p.m. Tuesday, July 21st at the Tonawanda Kenmore History Museum, 100 Kanoki Road, Tonawanda. Former Village of Kenmore and Town of Tonawanda historian John Percy will present Lost Tonawanda, a PowerPoint program featuring photographs and stories of places that have disappeared from the town of Tonawanda, including the Kenilworth Racetrack, historic farms, taverns, businesses, trolley lines, bridges, and more. The presentation was rescheduled to July 21st. The program is free and open to the public. Donations to help cover the speaker honorarium will be accepted. The museum offers ample parking and is handicap accessible. For more information, email info@kentonhistory.org. You've been listening to Around Our Area, a weekly look at community newspapers from around Western New York. Stay tuned for our second hour. Your reader for this hour has been Patricia. Thank you for listening.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have a reading of our Southtowns papers, including Orchard Park, Hamburg, East Aurora, and West Seneca's Bee Papers or Sons. At 3 o'clock, we have the Ample Eagle, and at 4 o'clock, we have the Grand Island Niagara County Tribune Sentinel. Stay tuned for these readings and more throughout the day, and contact us if you have comments, suggestions, or questions. You're listening to the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Volunteer radio readers broadcast daily readings 24 hours a day of newspapers, magazines, books, and other printed matter to area people who are blind or have a print disability, who are provided reading radios. The Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service has broadcast almost 40 years of radio readings to those without sight. Our broadcast signal is provided at no charge by WNED. Radio Reading Studios are at 1199 Harlem Road in Cheektowaga. For more information on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, call 716-821-5555. The following program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision, or have another print disability,